hello. For those tuning in, this is the Then and Now podcast. As Charlie calls it, the best podcast on earth. I guess I can fill in the shoes and say that today. How you feeling, Brody E? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good on the self-proclaimed best podcast on earth. How you living? How you feeling?
I'm pretty good. And for anybody new tuning in, I am your co-host Luge V. Usually Charlie is the MC for the day, but he had to step out because it is indeed Father's Day. I actually had to call my dad immediately after this, because I haven't talked to him today. All right. What about you, buddy? You want to introduce yourself? Or you want me to do it for you?
I guess I can. It's either way. I usually have a graphic up there that says our names. That's Luge V, my boy. I am Ethan Murphy, aka the King of the Comics, and happy Father's Day to y'all. I did call my pops, unlike Mr. Lelouch V. So happy Father's Day again, Dad.
Better son than me.
No, I am not even close. We've established multiple times that you are the better of us. You are the brains of our outfit. You are the handsomest one. You're younger. So I'm just the other guy.
I mean, we for sure can agree on younger. I am younger. That's agree. Yeah. So it's good, Mike. How you doing, Brody?
Yo, happy Father's Day, Mike. How you living, brother? Because Mike is a father, for those who don't know.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Happy Father's Day, Brody. Happy Father's Day. I know we got our main topic for the night is our top 10 Pixar movies. But before we get into that, we had a little side thing we want to talk about. You want to introduce it, Brody?
Of course. So the film, and I'm going to go ahead and call it a film. The film Hustle came out on Netflix. Did it come out like Friday or?
I think that was Friday. I think it was Friday.
Yes, Friday. Okay. So the new Adam Sandler flick on Netflix came out called Hustle, which is, long story short, is the story about him finding this basically a blue chip hopeful out in the middle of nowhere in Spain that he tries to recruit to enter the NBA. And it's a story of going from nowhere to everywhere, essentially. And it's a bit bizarrely enough, even though it is an Adam Sandler joint, it's not a Happy Madison joint. It is actually like a real movie. Mm-hmm. And Otis and I both saw it, I think, earlier today. And it was actually, I'll be honest, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great movie.
Immediately, I can say that is one of his better movies that he's ever made, Sandler. Him and Juancho Hernan Gomez, they had a nice chemistry on screen. Watching it for the first time, like watching it through initially, like I was like, who is this dude? Like I know, I'm pretty good with the recognizing NBA players, and like if like just seeing him with his haircut versus how he is normally, he looks like a completely different human. Like so.
So what team is he with in the NBA?
He's on the Utah Jazz.
He's the Jazz. Okay.
Yeah. Jazz. Also, probably why I didn't recognize him because, like, who watched this?
He was the Jazz. but the thing was, he did his. I mean, there's plenty of athletes who can't act worth a sock. He didn't stand out as like, oh, this guy, get him off the screen, please. He wasn't like a Hayden Christensen in episode 2. Add me all you want. So yeah.
Episode 2 and 3, I will go so far as to say that. And actually, so people can actually recognize us. I think I can put our name tags up here. So there we go.
Oh yeah. I think that's our old school. That's right. That's us. I like how it's still Lelouch Vino, and mine is my Christian government name for tax purposes. But yeah, it works.
Yeah, but hitting on back on Hustle. Along with of course Adam Sandler starred several NBA players, including Juancho Hernan Gomez, the essentially the main character. Anthony Edwards is the heel. He was Kermit Wilkes, who was the antagonist, and he did a fantastic job. Yeah, but he was literally just being himself. Like that wasn't him acting. That was Anthony Edwards being Anthony Edwards.
Just getting to play mind games.
He did fantastically. Seeing Boban Bogdanovic. No. That was the guy that was playing
the 22. Yeah, right. With the 12-year-old son, whatever. Yeah,
right. That's he's a player. Well, he was before that movie came out. He was on the Dallas Mavericks. After it came out, he's traded to the Houston Rockets. So that was surprise there for him and for us at the same time, I guess.
Right. I was the one I was most surprised with, Brody, was they had your boy AI showed up. I mean, it was a super duper hardcore cameo of 2 seconds on clearly over the computer, but I haven't seen him in 20 years.
Right.
So I was like,
talking about practice. I mean, it's a movie about the essentially in Philadelphia about the 76ers. If you didn't have Allen Iverson in it, it would have been a crime.
Right. So, right. That's true. Yeah, they had to put him in somewhere. Also, Dr. J. Dr. J had to be in there
as well. And I mean, Dr. J directly led into a big part of the plot. So hey,
he did.
But this really felt like a NBA movie. Like it felt like the NBA had their hands all over it. You saw, things from the regular Thursday shows. Like they had everything to make this feel as authentic as possible. And I really enjoyed it.
Yes, but that being said, because I'm not the biggest NBA head, I have no beef with the NBA, but I don't know as much about it nearly as much as my buddy Otis and of course Charlie do. But it was still an enjoyable movie. It was a good movie in and of itself to watch, and it kind of reminded me of Creed, ironically enough, which is also set in Philadelphia primarily. It's a story of a person, overcoming some kind of overcoming themselves or odds to try to become better. It also had an awesome mentor-mentee relationship. And I'll be completely blunt. You may not like this, but at the very end, I cried when they, I won't spoil anything, but there's a part where they're hugging each other. And it's very much a kind of like a father-son moment. I cried. So it's in and of itself, it's an inherently good film, regardless if you're a sports fan or a basketball enthusiast.
And right now you're hearing from both a sports fan and basketball enthusiast and a non-one, so we're both on the same page here.
Right.
We are going to do a official review on it just yet today, but I do recommend if you're tuning into this and you haven't seen it yet, go watch Hustle. It's
highly recommend. If you're not an Adam Sandler, I know there's plenty of people that have kind of feel they're over Adam Sandler. This is not an Adam Sandler movie. There are Adam Sandler isms in it, but they're done the right way. It's funny when it's supposed to be, not tongue in cheek for no reason. So.
Right. Yeah, there were. I mean, jokes were definitely there. You saw a lot of good moments, but this is a serious movie. It is a drama.
Yeah, it's a drama more.
It's not Jack and Jill. It's not.
Why do we bring that up? Speaking of which, we got our boys here. What up? What up, Soups? Good to hear from you, brother.
It's good, Charlie.
Oh, one last thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe because I have been sick all week, so my brain may be scattered. But was this like the best Queen Latifah's ever looked? Like I was like, Queen Latifah's looking good. What is going on?
She looks better in that movie than she did in Living Single. What
30 years ago? Yeah. I was like, all right.
Kudos to her.
Damn.
She was a great compliment to Adam Sandler in this. Their daughter was great. Like there was a lot of great things about it, and I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah, I have no complaints. It's one of those things where it's almost like they set up to make an anti-Adam Sandler movie because he has a wife. He always has a wife that's kind of there doing nothing. Queen Latifah plays his wife in this movie. Spoiler alert, but they have their relationship seems very real. Like actual real people would be with each other, and you actually buy them as actual loving couple and stuff. So. It's
not Drew Barrymore or
Kate Beckinsale was the one that
Kate Beckinsale, right?
Selma Hayek. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
The woman that he really couldn't pull in real life.
No. I think the worst one was just when he had, what's her face, Katie Holmes, who was like 70 years younger than him. It's like, come on, guys, try.
Yeah, that did happen. I forgot about that.
It did happen. Man. But anyway, so that's our brief review of Hustle. We'll definitely have the full one when Charlie comes back later on. And
we'll probably do a ranking of top 10 Adam Sandler movies at some point too, I guess.
Do we have to?
It's like this and then the rest of them, I guess.
I was already sick for a week, but okay.
But going on to our main topic, you ready to get into some Pixar movies?
Of course.
All right. Along with this, of course, I got some visuals for us. We're not going to just let you sit here and watch us all day. So let me bring it up.
Do that to you.
Got some gameplay from the Toy Story 3 movie, which is easily the best Toy Story movie out there. But I mean,
and we'll see where it falls on our list. If it falls on our list, question mark. You're right. All right, E, if you want to start us up with number 10, what you thinking? Let me get the video started. Okay, I'll start us off. Yeah, right on. So this is our the way we do this is we each have our own personal list. We're not trying to necessarily combine list or say who's right, who's wrong. It's purely arbitrary, purely subjective. If you disagree, that's perfectly fine. My number 10, and I'm sure we're going to have all kinds of flack because everyone's list will be so damn different. But my number 10 is Monsters, Inc., the original Monsters, Inc.
Ooh, that's number 10 for you.
That's number 10. I mean, there's a lot of good Pixar movies.
There are. That is a tough one to argue. I got a little bit higher on my list. My number 10 is actually one of the newer ones that I've watched via your recommendation, and that's Turning Red. That's
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. So we can do them because they don't match. We can talk about them. Well, oh no, we'll talk about Turning Red. Damn, that's higher on my list too. So
all right. So
where
give a little bit why you give Monster Inc. at number 10, and I'll give a little bit of why I did Turning Red at number 10.
Okay, yeah, and I guess later on we get to them later on in the list. We'll say more. Real quick then, why I put Monsters Inc. at number 10. Partly is because there's so many other good ones. It's not that it's bad at all. I actually do really, really enjoy it. But it's like I think what it is, why I put it on the list is just because it's a very unique, fun concept. The idea of the monsters that are supposed to scare kids so much being they're actually a source of power that a whole civilization uses, and seeing how a character like Boo, who can't even really talk, is so just an enjoyable kid just to be around, and how these two grown-ass men or grown-ass monsters like they become a family with her. I really enjoyed watching that whole angle essentially.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Monsters Inc. To give it a little bit of, I'll talk more of it when we get up to where it is on mine.
Yo, Mystique is in here. What up, Mystique?
I'm not saying Turning Red is bad at all. It's on my top 10 list, so I have nothing to knock on it at all. It's just a few of those other ones are a little bit more iconic for me, so they can love it. Like Monsters Inc. Because I mean, Mike Wazowski. I mean, like for a name so like who thinks of Wazowski on a regular. But if you've seen Monsters Inc., you know Mike Wazowski, you know Sully, you know Boo. Like those characters are so memorable to me, and I'm trying to not give too much for why.
Yeah, we got stage stuff right. But I will say this much, Rain, because we missed you. We love you. So good to have you back. What we'll say real quick though is that all these top 10s, we're not saying that any of them are bad. It's just that. By default, they can't all be number one. Exactly. That's kind of how it is.
Exactly. Yeah, I would never trash Turning Red. Turning Red was a really enjoyable movie. It actually, with me seeing it recently, it knocked a few of my other favorite Pixar movies down a peg. So much kudos to it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed seeing a comic of age story, and first of all, not a story centered around a man for once. Like I mean, the Pixar movies have been kind of heavily dominated by men. So I mean, seeing a different perspective, I really enjoyed. And then there's the concept of not making a true villain to the story, and essentially putting the lessons that they have to learn as the essential main conflict of a movie. I think that was very original, and I think it came out really well.
Absolutely, I completely agree. It was kind of a banger year for Disney doing female-led movies like Encanto. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Is it Encanto or Encanto?
I think it's Encanto.
It's Encanto. Yeah. My Spanish is terrible. I apologize, but that film and then Turning Red came out around the same time. Mm-hmm. They're both really well done. And then Michelle Yeoh, who was in, spoiler alert, she's obviously in Turning Red, and then she's also in what's it called? Everything Everywhere All at Once. And she was right before that. She was in similar. What's that movie? Shang-Chi. So she's having banger years.
She was on a roll.
She was on a roll. So yeah, so it's really cool. So I definitely put Turning Red a little bit higher up on my list, but I agree with everything O said. It was the viewpoint was amazing. The perspective was great, and it was executed so well. So yeah, we'll get more into that later on. But yeah.
All right. Since you went first, I'll go with my number 9. My number 9 is is actually brave. And I may be a little bit biased just because she uses a bow, but
She does use a bow a lot. That's
yeah, she
right. That's
does.
right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
so yeah, I have a bit of a natural bias, but that's just a movie that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Again, for a lot of the same reasons that I enjoyed Turning Red. Get a actual meaningful female protagonist. She's not just a damsel in distress,
No.
and she does her thing, man. That's just a movie I really enjoy. That's one that I've actually probably rewatched the most in my adulthood out of the Pixar movies.
So that was not on my list. I think the thing about it, the that was when Pixar kind of like took a step forward with the graphics and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, just to address what Rain said. Yes,
Yes,
everything everywhere all at
fantastic
once.
movie.
Yeah,
Fantastic movie.
I
Watch
think
it.
you can rent it now. If you can get a chance to get your eyeballs on that, pun intended, if you'll see watch the movie, do so. It's amazing movie.
The googly eyes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
good. It's a great movie, Rain. But
We
yeah,
for sure got to do a review on that at some point. Cause,
yeah, we got to get Dev to watch it.
yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's when they did Brave. Like the looks, you can tell just the graphics and everything. Her hair, what's her name, Meredith or something like that.
Meredith, yep.
Meredith. Her hair looks the way it looks is stunning. It's amazing.
It's almost like a Rapunzel story, but like she's not a damsel in distress to a degree. She's just like
No.
she's actually kind of a badass by the end.
So the thing about it was too is it came out like in 2007 or 8. It came out the same year as Wreck-It Ralph, and it
What's
got the
the
award
same
over.
year?
Because it got the award over Wreck-It Ralph, which upset me.
Hmm.
But it kind of set the bar that became the trend for having strong female protagonists in movies and stories, and it had a badass thing. It came after that. That movie was that influential in a way.
Hmm.
The thing that kind of seemed weird about it to me was that the story seemed kind of it was two different stories mashed together with the bear story and then the mom story. But it still looked beautiful. I still love the accents of the characters is amazing. Anytime she fires that bow is cool. It didn't make my top 10, but it's a Pixar movie. It's still fun to watch. So yeah. And my number 9 is did I say my number 9? So my number 9. Oh no, I'm gonna get a lot of flack from this.
Uh-oh. What's it 9?
Yeah, it's Toy Story 1. Again, this is not because it's bad at all. It's just because I love so many other Pixar movies. I love Toy Story 1. I've watched that one. I literally watched that one so much with my my younger cousins back in the day when it was on the VHS clamshells. If y'all remember those things, that we broke the damn tape. We had to get it later on DVD. So I watched it past nauseum. I loved it to pieces. I know I cried on it at least once back in the day. It was amazing. And I've laughed at there's certain times I can still say my cousin now. Like I could just scream, "You are a toy!" If there's certain things, they'll know when it's laugh. So it's an amazing movie. I'm not sure if it's on Otis's list at all. The first one.
The first Toy Story, it's a little bit higher on my list.
Okay.
I'll get into more of that when we get up there. We still got a little bit to go before we get to that. But yeah, Toy Story is a iconic movie. It shaped a lot of what I expect from kids movies as a kid. Like I needed it to be that good.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'll get into it more when I get up there. But yes,
we'll save that one.
Toy Story 1 for sure deserves to be on this list. If you ask me.
Yeah. Also, you could argue that there wouldn't be a Pixar or a list without Toy Story 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. I would actually argue that, but I'll get that. I'll get to that when we get there.
Right on.
Going into number 8. I'll go first. No, I went first last time, Z. So you're the first on number 8.
Okay, number 8. Let's see here. I don't even know how you feel about this one. I have a soft spot for it. Ratatouille.
Yo, that's my number 8. Like right here
nice.
on my list in front of me.
Nice.
We're the same. That's I should have actually talked about that while before we started. The Buzz Lightyear movie is the reason why we decided to do our top 10 Pixar movies right now.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a chance to see it. Hopefully we'll be able to see that by next week and have a full-on review for it ready for you guys soon. But that is the reason why we are doing this thing. And honestly, I'm not expecting a whole lot from it either. I'm expecting it to be mid. I'm hoping it's better, But
Right. Yeah, I guess it's one of those things again where you hope for the best, but plan for the worst or whatnot. Not the worst, like it's gonna be bad. I know it won't be bad. It's still Pixar, but it's a weird. I never really I wasn't yearning for the story behind Buzz Lightyear's journeys and everything before.
mhm.
So, but we'll see how it goes.
But getting to Ratatouille, which is another thing that was basically referenced in Everything Everywhere at Once.
Yes,
What's
yes,
got that
yes.
sitting?
Yeah.
What makes that sit at your eighth spot? How you feel about it?
So is again, I mean, it could have been higher. I think actually it was higher before, but then I had to change something. But it's the what I love about it so much. And this is something that Otis, I know you and I can relate to. Dev and I talk about this all the time. Rain probably can relate to this too. It's the idea of you are a creative entrepreneur and want more out of life, and you feel like you are stuck in a certain position or a certain station, and that there are circumstances beyond your means that are holding you back. And watching a story of, I know a rat cooking may not seem like it's a perfect metaphor, but it is. And watching Remy strive
Mhm.
inspires me. So
Yeah, I mean, in a similar light, like I mean, seeing a rat become essentially a Michelin chef is
yeah,
is, is is
literally,
a feat beyond like there are millions of restaurants across the world, and most of them don't have a Michelin star, but this rat that got under somebody's hat does. I mean,
yeah,
that's an impressive story in itself.
yeah.
It's
And this
really
is in
entertaining.
France.
Yeah, it's in France.
Yeah,
When it follows the one non-French guy in France somehow. He
yeah,
is French, but
yeah.
that's a whole nother another thing to it. Ratatouille. Ratatouille. I mean, it also has a special place in my heart because I also really love food, and some of those
Yes.
meals actually did look pretty good.
Look
Uh,
damn good.
and then coming full circle and ending with the main dish being ratatouille for the critic. I mean, I feel like that was poetic justice there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And we won't get into too many spoilers because Rain hasn't seen it yet. Definitely check it out, Rain, when you get a chance. Like tomorrow, actually, right after this, please check it out. Um, but there's a part in the film where nostalgia plays a big role in a meal, and we've all been there before, where a meal that
I thoroughly agree
um,
with you, Chris.
uh, oh yeah, yeah, they should. Yeah, I watched that right now. If they had Gordon Ramsay in the sequel, yeah. But there's a part where nostalgia plays a part in kind of like seasoning the meal. Essentially, I know there's if you have a meal that's so good, it takes you back to your childhood or takes you back to
Mhm.
a better time in some way. So seeing that scene really makes me happy.
Oh,
Um,
that's a block. Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely a
yeah,
block
like
for
all those.
sure.
There you go, about all those.
Yeah.
Make sure we didn't block off Chris though. Okay. So now you do your number 7 then. So I didn't mind. We had the same number 8. So.
Yeah, number 7 is Nemo, man. Finding
Number
Nemo.
7?
That's my number 7.
7. Yeah,
Um,
that's a definite bump up. So since you're a basketball fan, that's for me. That's like a 3-point. I'm shooting that 3-pointer way, shooting that number 7 way up further up court. Then
really, Nemo. I mean, I really contemplated having Nemo higher just because there were so many things I did enjoy about it. And Crush is still one of my favorite characters in Disney, and he's
of
not even
course.
remotely like the main character in this.
No,
Uh,
he's Michelangelo basically.
he, I feel like he like low key inspired me to be a stoner before I even knew what being a stoner was.
Yeah. He probably influenced a whole generation. But
Yeah, absolutely. And then I mean, of course, like the movie itself is fantastic. I mean, you get that's one of the few times Ellen DeGeneres is like does a good job in something. I guess.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
real generous. Yeah.
I mean, the whole journey of seeing a clownfish and Dory going across the ocean to get to get to from wherever they were initially to Sydney, Australia, to break a goldfish out of a dentist. Like in hindsight, it sounds like such a small thing, but they made it into such an amazing story. So.
It's such an epic journey, and I didn't even realize until later on. My mom one time, as she was watching me watch it with like me and my nephew or something like that. And she goes, well, that's a clownfish. And she goes, oh, that's the actual the symbolism of a clown, kind of like this clown. He's a joke. It's from the Jarnian's fact. It's he has no business doing anything because he's a clown.
Shark
so it's
bait.
a
Ooh, ha, ha.
yeah.
Yes. I love
it. It's oh my god. So I won't talk about it too much because it's so much higher on my list. Well, I won't say where it is, but I'll save it for later on when we get to it. But yeah, I love the movie. It's great. It's great.
No, Rain, you actually just made me realize a major gap in my list. I do not have Incredibles on here at all. I don't know how I made that mental block. That was a fumble. That was a fumble.
You may have to do like a top 15 or something later on because it's so. Yeah, there's a lot of.
There are 26
now
with Lightyear.
That's right, 26 with the Lightyear's the last one. So 26. That's right.
And I guess there's another one that they have playing called Elementals coming out soon. So I mean, looking forward to seeing that. But
yeah, I'm down for that too. Right on. Yeah, we may have to revisit this or something.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do another one with Charlie.
Yeah, we got to get Charlie's list on here too. But yeah, I fumbled the bag. I did not put Incredibles on there.
Don't worry, Rain. Don't worry. It's on my list. It's on my list. I wouldn't let you down, Rain. I never let you down. Not even once, Rain. I promise. So.
All right, well, what's your number 7, buddy?
Okay. All right. My number 7 is Turning Red. That's where I put Turning Red at. Mm-hmm. Everything you said, I echo. It's a fantastic movie. Also, I love just how they fused in all the influences from the Asian American culture without like just being unnecessary and needless. It's like all these things pertain to the story, pertain to the character. They make sense. They're colorful. They're fun. They're entertaining. And it's not like they're trying to give you like a history lesson on it. It's like, no, it's still entertaining. It's making a movie. You can do both at the same time. They did it seamlessly. They did it really, really well. I don't know how much of the history involves red pandas or were-pandas necessarily. But the parts were great.
I've never heard any previous lore about were-pandas, but I mean, hey, there's a lot of things I don't know. So I mean, it's 50-50 out there.
Right.
How did this get back in?
Oh, that thing. It keeps tracking us down. Another thing that's fun about it too was just like you said, how they've done a really good job in some Pixar movies where the conflict or the main antagonist isn't like this main supervillain trying to destroy the world or do something like that. It's just her mother that wants essentially a better life for her. And spoiler, I guess we'll get some spoilers for Turning Red. It's a bit of a hereditary thing that the mother passed on to her daughter, and she's trying to keep her from turning into the monster that she once was, and other things, and seeing how that plays out. It's something that in all of our lives, I'm sure our parents have tried to do things to keep us from following their same mistakes they've made. So it's relatable in that sense too, regardless of where you come from.
Yeah, I think the plot of it was very, very well crafted. Honestly, if I probably had more time to marinate on it, it might get up higher on my list. But that is definitely a very well made movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that the experimentation that they did with how they formed that plot can be kind of taken and molded into many other things, because I mean, I don't think I've ever seen something like that before where like there's no no far off villain. The villain is literally just someone that's trying to do better for the protagonist. Like, it's an interesting concept, and I enjoyed it.
Yes. Real quick, we had a major issue. Sorry, Rain. One of us accidentally blocked you trying to block someone else. We're trying to figure out how to. I know.
Oh no.
That was a major gaffe on our part.
Yeah, seriously. Hold on.
We gotta figure that one out. Sorry. Hold on, Rain.
Yeah, I gotta see how to undo that.
How to undo that one? Because you don't want her blocked. We wanted this other person blocked. Rain, if you have another account, feel free to hit us up through that. In the meantime, we're gonna try to figure out how to get you back on here.
Yeah, I am so sorry, Rain. That is thoroughly an accident.
I'm not even sure which one of us did it, but we both apologize for that one. That was our bad.
Yeah, this is just some gameplay for Toy Story 3 to go along with us talking about Pixar, and you're also getting some buzz for Buzz Lightyear.
Nice. Oh, nice. I see what you did there. I see what you
Yeah.
did there, Lelouch. Well done, V. Well done.
Uh,
Um, but again, we apologize to Rain for the show. Let's see here.
oh, this Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 came out. Ooh, I gotta check on what
It was
year they
like,
came out.
I
It's
think
like
it was 20.
20. What? I gotta check on that.
I think he means the game. You mean the
Yeah,
game, Mike, right? Not the
yeah, the
movie.
game,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
movie, the actual video game.
It came
I
out
gotta.
2018 or something. It was recent.
Was it that recent?
It may because it was still. This is PS3.
It's on. Hold on. I'll find out for sure.
Yeah, I can't remember what. I'm still trying to figure out how to get Rain back here. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
2010.
Yep. 2010.
Yeah, Chris says 2010. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Okay.
Yep. 2010. 7.5 out of 10 on IGN.
The thing is, though, looking at that for 2010, that's 12 years ago. That still looks pretty damn good. Though.
Yeah, it's a solid looking game to this day.
Yeah.
It definitely holds up. I think to get Rain back, I think we're gonna have to get Charlie to do it because I don't have. You have to do the unblock that from YouTube directly. It's not through StreamYard.
Oh, yeah. Dev has to have his master code.
Mhm.
Dev, if you're watching, if you can hook Jack in there real quick just to unblock Rain
Yes,
somehow.
please unblock Rain.
Yeah, we effed up. There she goes. No, we got her back. Yay, we got her back. Welcome back, Rain.
For older game, it still holds up to this day. Somehow, I think we did a good job picking a game to fit what we're going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Actually, we did pause the show without her.
We did.
We literally paused the show without her.
But no, we'll absolutely get that fixed before this next week's show. Charlie, he's just out. He's out being a good son and taking his dad out for Father's Day. We'll get that fixed.
Yeah, he's the If Otis is the brains of our outfit, Charlie's definitely the heart, and I'm just the guy with the hat on. So I think you're doing your number 6. Is it your turn to do number? You can do number because I think I blocked Rain accidentally, so you can do number 6 first.
Yeah, to go to my number 6, and that my number 6 is your number 10, Monsters Inc.
Oh, okay. So why is it so high up for you then?
Again, like that is a movie that not only I watched myself, I watched with my younger sisters a lot. That was her favorite movie as a kid. So I just seen it so much. I know so many of the lines so well that I really enjoyed it. I mean, and then it stirred into one of the big childhood fears, like don't look at the monster under the bed, and it made a whole movie around that without it being even remotely scary and making the monsters into the friends for this kid. So
yeah, and I think that's a big thing that you brought up right there is that it kind of makes it kind of probably helps kids get over the fear of the monsters in the closet or under the bed kind of things too. So it actually helps in that way. And another thing that I really liked about the movie was there's that scene where they're all on they get into, like, you see this whole world of doors and they're jumping all over the doors, and they're the chase scene over doors. It's such a high concept chase scene that's done so well. It still holds up amazing. I watched the movie fairly recently. It's like this is just an imaginative thing,
I wouldn't put it past the Wachowski brothers still in that. Let's let me not do that tangent today.
if they even call themselves Mike Wachowski or something like that, but
yeah, Mike Wachowski,
Wachowski. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, probably my number 6. What about you, E? Which is your number 6?
So my number 6. Yeah. Oh yeah. True. So, I guess. Yeah. In that case, I'm the soul, according to Chris. No, I was giving a hard time, but yeah, you're right though. It's the 3 parts that make everybody work.
How does this keep coming back?
I'll let you deal with that so we don't accidentally mess up Rain this time. My number 6 is The Incredibles. Speaking of Rain, That's where I put it. Incredibles 1. Um, Incredibles is just, it was, you got to remember the time that it came out.
Mhm.
It predates the MCU. So it was when superhero movies were not the norm, and superhero movies were not executed well. And this did come out after, I think it came out, correct me if I'm wrong, after one of those Fantastic Four movies. I think the very first one
Mhm.
by Tim Story. And it showed that you could do,
Actually, a good superhero movie for once.
well,
Like,
actually more importantly, a good Fantastic Four, because it basically is the Fantastic Four
sure.
done right and done well. I believe it came out after that one, but ultimately it's still just it still holds up amazingly well. The effects, the fights, like the music, the actual family arguments. I've watched so many documentaries on it. I listened to the book on tape about how Brad Bird and them did these things, and the writing behind it. It's just amazing. It's an amazing feat of film. So I love it to pieces.
Yeah, it's a again. If I had been thinking clearly when I made my list, it definitely would have made mine. Incredibles was definitely really done well. A well done movie.
Yeah.
All the way from like seeing the journey of the superhero father, like go from being the yay I'm big bad Mr. Incredible to having to learn how to be a father and like be undercover with his powers and not be out with them, and then
Right.
seeing how literally just his existence created the true villain of
Right.
that movie. So
That's a good point. That whole story with him and Syndrome is just like, that's an amazing like backstory to how he created him. Yeah, I love it.
mhm.
It's great. It was also funny about that, and I mean not fun, but interesting is how for a quote unquote kids friendly movie, how there's a body count. Have you actually looked at the
Yeah,
body count in that movie? It's like 20
like
some odd deaths.
the process of just saving Syndrome that first time and getting the flashback to when they were still younger. Like so many people died in that little bank heist right there. It's just like, all right, Batman.
There's also a dude called, I gotta give it props, Bon Voyage. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
French puns. And
I
I'm pretty
mean,
sure he
don't
blows
forget
someone up
the cake montage. Like there was some bodies that dropped there too.
left and right. I mean, it was a good God, just piling them up. So it was great. And there was also, the movie opens with a guy trying to commit suicide, and he takes Bob Parr or Mr. Incredible to court and says, "quote You didn't save my life, you ruined my
My
death." It's
dad,
like,
yeah.
God damn, this movie it hold no punches. So yeah, it's a classic one. It's a classic one. I love it. I love it. All right, then Brody. Moving on to our number 5.
So
Oh no. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. Oh, my
uh,
number 5 is Wally.
what?
I know.
Five?
I know.
Five?
I know. It's a great movie. It's my number 5.
No, I mean,
Should we just hold off altogether? Or
yeah, because I mean, you know where Wally lands for mine, so we'll get into a heavy conversation for that when we get down there to it.
right on, right on.
My number 5 is one that we talked about a little bit earlier in Toy Story 1.
Okay.
Again, so going back to that, like that in my childhood, it is the movie I've seen probably more than any other movie in existence. So it automatically had to make the list just because of that was there.
So
But
not just Pixar movie, but just movie in general.
like there, as a child, there was no movie that I watched more than Toy Story. Uh,
Interesting. Interesting.
it
Okay.
was uh, I believe my mom said she took me to theaters to see it, but I was so young I wouldn't even remember that anyway. But
Yeah.
for when it got home, like I had to get 3 separate tapes of Toy Story 1 because
Yeah.
I watched it so much that the film started coming out of the actual cassette tape for the first one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I mean, again, I really don't know if Pixar would be the entity that it is now if Toy Story didn't exist. So it
Yeah.
absolutely has to go on my list because of that.
Yeah.
It came up with a concept that I still wish was real to this day. If my toys would come alive when I walk out of the room, like it
hope
had,
they
as a
do.
child, like it had me checking my room like for the longest. It's like, all right, did they get up? Okay, no, they're still there. They're still there.
I hope they do. It was so funny because you're 100% right. And my I told you I watched my little cousins back in the day, my cousin Miles, and he was like, "Does that happen? Do toys come to life when you're not around?" And so my sister, who's older than me, what we did was when he wasn't what we do is I would take him with me out of the room, and then she would like sneak in there, like move the toys around. So then we could go back in there and be like, look, they're in different positions. He's like, oh my gosh, they moved around. So we kind of tried to like, he was like small, so he believed it. So we definitely did that. So Chris says someone died because there was a villain rampaging and his superhero's wife wouldn't let him superhero.
Oh yeah.
Zone.
I mean, she's the greatest good that he'll ever get.
The greatest good that you will ever get. Sammy Jackson. Yeah, absolutely. One other thing I want to add on to Toy Story real quick, and then we can move on. It's a buddy cop feature, and Otis knows that's my single favorite genre in anything. So of course I love
that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff going on, but it boils down to it is a buddy cop story. So yeah, it's in the first one. Does it the best, I think. So yeah,
is that Tom Hanks' only buddy cop?
No, he was in Dragnet back in the day. He was also in one with a dog called Turner and Hooch. So
I remember Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, it's it is his best one. I mean, that's unquestionable. It is his best one. Yeah. All right. Moving on to
what is your number 4? Wait, no. Did you say your number 5?
It's yours. Yeah. So my number 5 is one that pissed you off.
Oh yeah, right, Wally.
Wally.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah, well, of course we will. But now it's your turn to do your number 4 then.
So going to my number 4, this is one that I actually literally just watched today, and that's Soul.
Nice, man. Your number 4.
Yeah, made my number 4. So watching through it, there were just so many things that I related to directly in my life. I mean, I couldn't put it anywhere else but somewhere in the top 5.
I agree. It's obviously a more recent Pixar film, but for those who, I guess we won't get into too many spoilers with it, but on the surface it may seem like it's meant just for the Black culture, for young Black men or whatnot. But there's so many things you can relate to. Anyone from any walk of life can relate to, I think. But
Rain.
Yeah.
You watching this on every platform today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Definitely appreciate that. So we haven't talked actually at all about Soul. It's my first time. You just watched it today.
Yes,
and I rewatched some of it today because I still love that movie. The thing I wanted you to see, there's a scene where the character kind of confronts
talking to the mother. Yeah, I figured that was a scene that you I already knew. I know my brother.
Yeah. So that's why I was most excited to see you watch that scene above all else. And but it's again the whole point of the story. You should talk. This is let you talk more. I'm talking everything. But
I know. Okay, so Soul being my number 4. The entire point of the story is essentially like finding purpose, finding what you were meant to do in a situation where. Yeah, I don't want to ruin that part. So yeah. So Jamie Foxx is the protagonist. He has his life going. He has a little bit of mishaps, and he ends up having to mentor another person who is essentially giving up on finding their purpose in life. And so their partnership comes together on a whim, but in the process of them going through the motions of everything that they want to accomplish on their own, they find out that they help each other's find their purpose. Being as vague as possible there, because I know it's relatively new, so I don't want to do any spoilers there.
Yeah, that's a good description right there. Very good description, and it's the execution that really makes it work too. They're very likable. It's Tina Fey is one of the characters, and Jamie Foxx, as you said, and I actually he's probably one of my favorite Pixar protagonist is Joe Gardner, because I can relate to him just so much. And he's a very, he's a good-hearted dude. But I think most people from whatever walk of life you're coming from, we can relate to the idea of feeling like you're just not you're not being given the opportunity to do what you want to do. That you're not that you aren't you just don't feel like you have the ability to fulfill your purpose, your grand purpose, and it's very frustrating. And you feel like if you just had this one thing, everything else would be perfect, and it's obviously not always the case. And the movie really explores that in a very organic way, I think. So
Yeah, I thoroughly agree. I think it's very well done. I think the way that it's crafted, it show like it's getting kind of that new format for children's movies where you just kind of like discover like, okay, the child is not always the one in the wrong, the adult is not always the one that's right. Sometimes you have to listen and understand to your younger person, your minor, whatever you want to call them, to truly get full perspective of what you got to do in life. So
yeah,
I respect it.
completely agree. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, completely agree. Right on. And Soul is a little bit higher on my list, but so I'll say we'll say a few more things, but that's pretty much there.
What is your number 4, buddy E?
Right on. My number 4 is Finding Nemo. That's where I put Nemo. Everything you said about Nemo, I completely agree with, especially the idea this is DeGeneres is one good thing, basically. But it's what made Nemo work so well for me was just that it's almost a tragic journey, almost like Oedipus or something like that from back in the day. And I love old mythology stories. That's kind of what this is in a way, but also it's a story of a father and a son. And this, I remember watching this when I was like just came out of high school, and at that point, my dad and I, we were still we weren't at odds with each other like that, but there was still just a distance with us. And this movie, at the heart of this movie, obviously, it's a relationship between a father and a son, and I kind of felt like I could relate to the idea of just wanting to make my own life apart from my father and making him proud in a different kind of way. And so that's why it hit with me really hard because of that. And so it's just a very well executed movie. It's beautiful to look at. It does have Crash in there. It's an amazing father-son story, and it's just an epic and fun journey.
I thoroughly agree with you. Fantastic movie. Yeah, well, again, the best thing Ellen DeGeneres has ever been a part of, marginally, in my opinion. I mean, some people are fans of her still.
Yeah, well, yeah. Fair. It's your choice. But we're not here to break into that scenario.
We're not going there today.
We're not going there
for another show, maybe.
Or Ezra Miller.
Oh my God, Ezra Miller.
But
like you were like, he's only really relevant because they decided to cast him as the Flash, and I don't understand why they did it.
That was their mistake from the jump. But we had to a whole nother show, a whole other series about that. About mistakes in Hollywood.
We'll get into the tragedies of Warner Brothers in another episode. Yes. I feel like we get into that often anyway.
we do, yeah. If you do a mash up of all the things every time we did that, it's like several hours.
Like, man, one thing I think we have guaranteed is that we may never get a Warner Brothers sponsorship. I don't think.
Not even remotely close. Let's see here what Chris said real quick. They're supposed to have this nosedive of Warner Brothers nonsense. Finding Nemo is the fish version of Hansen from Scary Movie 2 backstory. Grab my history.
Oh no!
Yeah, the character has that really small. Yeah, I remember that. That is dirty. That is horribly.
You know what? I can't even feed into that, Chris. Like that.
That is horribly dirty. I didn't even. My brain never went there ever. But now it can never leave it. It can never leave it because of that. Thanks a lot, Chris. You ruined my Father's Day. But I love it. That's awesome.
We're getting to the top 3 now.
You're in the top 3 now, Brody.
This is where it gets real here.
Okay. Yeah. So you go. You want me to do number 3 first? You do number 3.
I'll go on number 3 first.
Yeah, you do number 3 first. Then.
Mine is Up.
That is Up. Damn.
Yeah, that is. I mean, without. Whether it's Pixar or not, that's one of my all-time favorite movies. I thoroughly enjoy that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a way darker story than people actually give it credit for.
It is, but it's also uplifting at the same time.
True.
But
But
yeah, it's
seeing I never thought that I could idolize an old man to that degree before to watching that movie, but it was really well done. Doug Doug was a great comic villain.
he's the
Uh,
greatest. He's the greatest Doug
great,
ever.
yeah. That's squirrel. Like that is now a reference piece in general. Like he would just like randomly say squirrel, and everybody like knows what that is.
Yep.
I don't know how that worked.
It is. I love it. Real quick though, was that Seth Rogen's voice, or was that before he started doing every voice everywhere?
Doug. I don't think Doug is Seth
I
Rogen.
don't think it's Seth Rogen.
Let me see if I can find the voice actor for Doug.
I don't. But while you're looking for that, yeah, it's Up is amazing. I pulled the same thing you did with Incredibles. I kind of forgot about that one somehow. I had to rework my list, but yeah, it's great. Obviously, Up is amazing. The way I came to the movie back in the day, I messed up in that I took
Bob Peterson.
Okay, so it's not Seth right on. I took a date to see, and this is someone I was really involved with. We went to the theater, but we were late getting there, and we missed the first 5 minutes. So the most impactful, epic,
the sad part of the movie you missed.
Sad part, the most memorable part of the movie, the part that everyone talks about.
Mm-hmm.
We missed it, and we still enjoyed the movie, but we weren't quite sure why everyone in the theater was crying when we got there, and B, why it was like getting the reviews and stuff that it was, as far as being like such a monumental thing. Like we must have missed something. So we went back later on another time. Oh, I'm an idiot for being late.
It's like, we found out that his wife died, and he had been he lived his entire life with her, and
Yeah, and they weren't able. They tried to have kids, weren't able to have kids, and obviously Russell, in some ways, probably meant to be, obviously the version of the
kid that they never had. Yeah,
kid they never would have had. I love the part where, because I actually got teary-eyed at the end too when he gives him the Ellie badge. It's like this is from my wife and all that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's dope. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Really, really well done movie. Pixar has definitely mastered the formula of getting to tug at people's heartstrings.
They branded it, basically. They patented that ability. Yeah.
All right.
It's great.
So what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is the one that I know for a fact I cried at probably the most back in the day. I know I cried a lot, man. Get off me.
Nobody was mentioning
it. But it was Toy Story 3.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've seen this one. Oh, and Toy Story, I think it's the best one in the series. It's Toy Story 3.
Easily. I mean, to do a slight spoiler into the show, Toy Story 3 is my number 2. So, I mean, this is a perfect time to talk to it here.
Perfect. Right on. So the reason I put it number 3, is because at the very end, everyone's seen this movie. With a spoiler for that movie. At the end, when they're near they're getting ready to get incinerated. Yes, exactly what it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was some influence. Someone
they had to. There's
no reality. There's no because he looks just like Mr. Wilson. Yeah, but in Toy Story 3, at the end of the movie when they're getting ready to get incinerated and trash compactor and everything, and they all just stop and they all just sit there and they go hold hands. The idea of these innocent, sweet toys just accepting their mortality is like, that is the darkest shit I've ever seen in a kids movie, and they're just sitting there quietly. It's like, and I busted out crying. I love how it was done. I love the idea too of them just like having to face the growing up and changing and how things progress, and it's a very impactful, well executed film. So,
yeah, thoroughly agreed. Toy Story 3. I feel like they almost like made that movie intentionally for me. Like they were just like reading into my life at that time because I was in a similar position as Andy. I was getting ready to go off to college right around that time as well. Mm-hmm. And then in the process of having to give away or throw away or get rid of my toys from childhood. Like, I mean, I was getting ready to move out of my house. So like literally the same situation that Andy is dealing with. I was going through the exact same process. So of course that one, I usually try to stay as far away from nostalgia as possible, but that is one nostalgia moment that hit for me, and they did it well. I really enjoyed it.
No, absolutely, yeah. And because I think too, here's the best part is that the movies, the franchise, grew up with you. Like you said, the first one was kind of the movie you grew up with watching the most. So then for it to be when Andy is going off to college, the third movie is timed the same as you for college as well. It's kind of poetic justice in a sense too.
Yeah, I think they literally like they was like, all right, who watched this movie? All right, what age are they? All right, let's do it. I feel like I feel like that had to be intentional. Good marketing by Disney, and you pulled it off.
Right on. It's too well done. And there was another thing that was really cool about it too is like we're watching the game right now, which is set in the world of Toy Story 3, where the characters is because a part of the movie is like a heist at the end where they're not a heist, they're trying to like break out of like a prison, like a prison movie. They're trying to break out of the daycare center and seeing everything they go through to do that, and seeing how Woody is always still trying to keep hope alive as best he can, and no matter what. And it's kind of, it gets to the point where it's like there's sometimes you have to just basically it's almost when it seems all hope is lost, something will find a way to save you. It's in this movie it was the aliens with a hook, but it's never give up hope. That's the idea. It's never give up hope. So yeah. All right. And now we're down to The Wire. Now you said your number 2, of course, was Toy Story 3, which we just discussed. My number 2 is Soul, which is like everything we said a lot about Soul before. Not much left to say. So what I'll get into now, I guess, are some details I really liked about Soul. Soul is extremely beautiful. It's one of the best looking animated films, period. But the part where it shows, again, I always go about hair. It shows his Joe Gardner's hair and how the texture and everything. It looks like real hair. And I love when he goes to the barber shop. Like for those who haven't been in a barber shop, it seemed very true to form for a black barber shop's kind of culture, everything that's in there. And it's really cool to see that.
It felt very authentic to the the black experience in a barber shop. And then again, like I feel like that is something that we all kind of need to kind of do, like what was happening in that movie. Just kind of take a step back from your life to kind of realize, where you are in it, where your faults are. I think it was a really, really, really well done movie in that aspect. Like getting showing that even as an adult, you're never too old to grow and still try to progress as a person.
Absolutely.
Don't get set in your ways.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, I guess that's one of those things too, where it's easy to get stuck in your ways. It's easy to have tunnel vision and to lose sight of what matters most, to the point where they had Dorothea Williams. That's her name, right? Dorothea Williams. The person he aspires to perform with, like his whole life or whatnot. And she gives that amazing metaphor at the end where she says that little store anecdote about the fish in the ocean. I'm going to butcher it, but I'm going to try to say it unless you can say it better. Try to say it.
Yeah. So it's essentially it was a fish looking for the ocean. He comes across another fish. He was like, well, where's the ocean? He was like, well, you're in the ocean. It's like, no, this is water. I want the ocean.
Right. Exactly. You're always looking and striving for more, and you oftentimes will just miss how good you might have things already. It's like sometimes it's okay to just, it's okay to acknowledge the blessings you already have. So yeah, great movie. I love the movie pieces. I really do. And again, yes, for those keeping tabs, I did cry at that one. I told Otis that before I cried. So I cried at that part. There's a part at the end of that movie when he's playing the piano and he's just reflecting on just how literally, I know it sounds corny as hell, but how beautiful life actually is, and seeing life on some level through the eyes of someone else, and how he was able to appreciate it that much more. And he cried. He starts crying too, and it makes you cry every time. And that was Jimmy Foxx's best performance since Electro and Amazing Spider-Man 2, at least.
I mean, like, are we calling that a good performance?
I'm not even calling that a performance. That's a no. Not at all.
I feel like that was more of a punishment to the fans of Electro or Spider-Man or movies
or Jamie Foxx
Jamie Foxx. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, he redeemed it with the joke in Spider-Man No Way Home, thinking that Spider-Man was black. But I mean,
that's right. That one joke was amazing. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But no, that was I would say it's bizarrely enough that is one of Jamie Foxx's best performance in general is in that
Yeah,
animated
probably
film.
since Django. That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, yeah. Polar opposite role, polar opposite performance. Yo, that's a good. How many counts does Rain have?
As I said, she's been watching us from every platform, so I respect it.
I love it. I'm glad. But that's the best one though, because actually has her face. You guys see her, see Rain. Good to see her there too. Okay, so now we're down to the wire of wires. You can go first, do your number one because this has been. I already know what it is, but it's been building up. So
yeah. So my number one movie for Pixar of all time. I talk about it all the time with Charlie and Eve, but Wall-E. Wall-E, I feel is a beautifully done movie. Again, like getting a whole love story without actually any words. That's an impressive feat in itself.
Yeah.
But then, just the direct symbolism for like where where humanity is going, like being put into film. I really feel like there was so many truths in that movie. It doesn't even make sense.
No, it's. I mean, it was. I would say that in more ways than one, it was ahead of its time. But I mean, if they did the research to tell, they could able to tell that this is where the world's heading, obviously. But it's still to be as accurate as it's ending up. Like, oof, that's a bit stunning.
I'm with you there, Rain. It is a great movie. Wall-E is definitely a top tier movie. Like I'm a hard critic, and that is one of the four movies that I actually still to this day give a 10.
Yeah, I still give it a 10 as well. I mean, I would give a lot of the movies on this list are a 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
They all be number one. They're all still 10s. One thing that's fun, I actually appreciated on another viewing of the movie, the symbolism again with Wall-E. The idea is that the plant that Eve, whatever, is trying to get, like she needs that in order. Once she gets it and puts it inside her, it closes her up and it calls the other ship and everything to come down to Earth, all that kind of stuff. In a sense, it's her heart. It's what it makes her kind of like it's contained there. And at the end of the movie, when Wall-E like goes through hell and destroys himself to get it, he's like trying to retrieve her heart. And then she sees Wall-E broken up, and she like pretty much tosses it. It's like I'd rather have you fixed than have my own heart. So it's a very strong love there. So all the symbolism, every metaphors. It's a beautiful flick. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean another more direct metaphor is her name being Eve, and she had essentially a garden in her hand.
She garden. Yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah. It's I mean these aren't like coincidences.
Yeah,
They're
not at all.
Well made flick. I love it. It's fantastic, and it's such a cool like odd couple. Those two how they're built, and there's so many. We can talk about Wall-E, and we have off mic endlessly, but it's just also you said it's a beautiful movie, and it's funny because it is beautiful, but the movie on Earth, it's all trash, but there's a beauty to how the trash looks on film, but then also how Wall-E organizes it. I don't know how to describe it, but there's a beauty with that in a sense.
Right. Her whole purpose was to find that vegetation on Earth.
Yeah.
Good point, Larry. I'm sorry to cut you off, buddy.
No, it wasn't. I was just echoing what you said before, but how beautiful the movie looks and how beautiful it actually is. And it's one of those things too where they always tell you in film school, show don't tell. This movie is like the hallmark for show don't tell because there really isn't any actual, I don't think, dialogue until was like 3/4 into the movie. When they have the captain talks a little bit, it's primarily just you're just seeing things and you can get it, you understand it. Little kids in the movie theater were dead silent watching it. No one talked. They didn't need anything. It still was engaging enough. So kudos to the filmmakers and storytellers for that too.
Right. Just think that movie came out in 2008 and the animation still holds up to this day. The story content still holds up to this day, and then the overall message is still is directly apparent.
Yes,
so,
it's too well. Yeah, it's one of the best. It literally is one of the best of all time, hands down. So, and then my number one, I don't know. It's just I just have a soft spot for it because I like psychology as much as I do, and it just jives with me. It's Inside Out. This also is one of at the time, Pixar didn't have hardly any female-led movies. It was like Brave and this, and you could say Boo was doing something in Monsters Inc., but this was one that actually it was focused obviously on a young girl it's a coming of age story for a young girl, but it's done in a very unique way as far as on the inside of her mind, how her mind's working, how she's seeing things. And I can relate to that as far as feeling completely like an outsider. When I moved, I felt completely alone, didn't know what I was doing. And at the time, I had moved like to Virginia, and I felt terrible, and it was a mess. And even though I was much, much older, it still resonated as far as like feeling like I want to go back. I want to go home, and this isn't my home, and just seeing how desperate I would have been to go back to my old life, essentially, and just seeing it portrayed the way they did it was brilliant. And I love the idea of having the psychology of these characters represented, or emotions represented so well. It was fun, and it's worked for me. So Inside Out's always been my number one. It hits me hard. And yes, I cried. I don't know where in the movie. I cried multiple times. I'm sure I cried. So yeah.
You know, that's another failure on my part, because I actually have to this day still not seen Inside Out either. I didn't even think to look it up, look to try to watch it before this discussion either. So
okay, we'll have to do like a somewhat of a watch along or something like that, where we'll get Otis to watch that one. For those who want to jump in, we'll get Rain to join us too. Rain join us. We'll do a watch along for Inside Out with Otis. Yeah, because you watched Soul and Turning Red after my recommendations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are both pretty good ones that you like.
They both made my top 10, so
both made top 10s. Yeah, they're both great movies. And Soul and Inside Out's a great one too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a
Yeah, I mean, this whole discussion was to kind of give kudos to Pixar for having a very well made gallery of movies. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of misses in their repertoire. I mean, there are a few Cars,
sure.
But I mean, yeah, like, why did they make Cars in Cars 2 again?
I don't know, man. They got it in Cars 3.
Oh God, there is a third.
And the Good Dinosaur is another misfire, and but there's but there's more hits than there are misses with this.
And their hits are cultural classics, like people make their children watch those movies today.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's multi-generational. So people that grew up watching them when they were kids, as they grow up, they make their kids watch them then later on. So it's like, that's how important they are. So yeah, it's fantastic. And another thing I like about Pixar too is the overwhelming diversity of these films. They're so different. They span completely different movies. Like Incredibles is wildly different than something like a Soul. Right. Which is completely different than Bug's Life is completely different from
oh my God, A Bug's Life! I completely forgot about that movie. That should be on my list. That definitely should be in my top 5.
It's a great movie too. It's a fun movie. It's basically Seven Samurai, which is
basically
classic Hong Kong.
It's Bug, Seven Samurai, and then Hopper just gives some of the best monologues for a children's movie. Like, his monologues are better than anything you should do in a children's movie. A child would not get this. But
that's his MO though, because he did that in Hercules also. He was Hades. He always does that. James Woods. We
definitely got to do a ranking of the regular Disney animated movies, like the full-on animated. We're not gonna do like the live action and stuff.
No, that's the shortest, dumbest list ever. But the animated, I'm definitely down for that. And so we're gonna do more. As Otis alluded to, we'll do more. We have a lot more top 10 lists coming up here that we want to do. So if you guys, if there's any other top 10 lists in blurred nerd culture you want us to do, please send them in. Please recommend them to us, and we'll go ahead and get on that.
I didn't, Rain. I really just kind of did those off memory and then watched a couple new movies to see if they fit into my list at all. I failed here. I definitely failed the
list. You don't have to commit seppuku, man. It is okay. I do like. I'm so glad Rain's back because she's called out Otis and I for all of our everything. Welcome back, Rain. We missed you. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, man. This was a solid list. I wonder what Charlie's list would have been though, because I don't know what his.
I mean, like a decent amount of these movies are older than him, so like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really know what he would say. I mean, I'm sure that like something like Incredibles is going to make his list. I mean, a few movies that I thought were Pixar movies actually aren't Pixar movies. So I mean,
which ones you think were Pixar?
I mean, I thought that Encanto was a Pixar movie. and
Oh no,
it's
yeah,
actually not. Same thing with Wreck-It Ralph. Same thing with
yeah,
it's another one. It's another one. I'll have to figure that out. But still,
yeah,
like,
yeah. This. It seemed like Disney started trying to like, in a way, fashion their movies like Pixar ones, and they started
mm-hmm,
making it more CGI, obviously. But they kind of try to hit that. Like I think Tangled, even they tried to make Tangled like a Pixar
mm-hmm.
princess movie, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it didn't hit the same.
No, there's a Pixar magic that other studios like Illumination and even DreamWorks just can't hit. They don't. It doesn't
Mm-hmm,
hit that heartstring like Pixar's do. Because Pixar movies essentially are not kids movies. They're movies. They are movies that are kid friendly or kids
mm-hmm.
can appreciate. There's a
Yeah, they
difference.
are family movies, but I mean the depth of the plot, the dialogue, the interactions between the characters, those are meant for adults. Like that is
Yes.
something only adult would understand, and a lot of that. Like again, like going back to a Bug's Life, Hopper's rants. I did not understand those in the slightest as a child, but hearing them
Yeah.
now, it's like shit, man. All right.
I know that dude. That dude is out. He's gone. He's like Jesus. Because I've heard adults to give those exact kinds of rants, like almost verbatim. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, all right, this is just a bit too close to home.
Right.
So
It's like, all right.
yeah, yeah.
Talk about
So
crabs in a barrel.
yeah. So it's that's amazing. So we did real quick. One thing that Chris recommended is the top 10 childhood cartoons. Now, for that, do you mean cartoons like from our childhood or just overall cartoons?
Yeah, because I mean, we got three different sets of childhoods
Three different
here.
childhoods. There won't be the list will be so disparate. Yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
But I guess maybe we can, we'll figure out how to do that. We'll refine that and get to a list that works then for that. But yeah, we'll do a lot more of these because the top 10 ones are fun. To be honest, these are fun lists to do. They're very fun lists to do.
All right. I mean, well, we got our main topic out of the way as well as our side topic. Did you want to mention anything on Ezra Miller E? Or just gonna let him disappear into whatever.
God damn, that is. I did want to mention just it is a Father's Day miracle that the best kind where he is fired.
Yes, because I mean, like, who in their right mind cast this man to be the Flash, right? And then like just seeing who he is as a person outside of acting. Who in their right mind cast this dude as the Flash, right? Like Warner Brothers, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's been a mess for a while because like people were saying, real quick update. Just the biggest straw that brought the camel's back was that he was quote unquote, and I'm not going to get into the details. I don't know what the details are, but grooming a minor. And he'd been doing it for years. Like he'd been grooming this minor since she was 12, and this was 6 years ago. Which means if Warner Brothers had any knowledge of this from 6 years ago, and they still were working with him, it's like, what are you doing? Like she just became legal, barely, like this week or some shit. So it's like, what is going on? So yeah, I
mean, kudos to them for finally firing him, but like, bad move by Warner Brothers. Like, come on now. Like, this is almost as bad of a move as like, what you're doing with Gotham Knights or casting Ruby Rose, anything ever, or like the CW Arrowverse in general. But we
did it again. We did it again. We said we were going to try to not to just jump on Warner Brothers and CW, but we couldn't help her. We can't help ourselves.
It's like they fail so loudly that you can't help but talk about it. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You have to. But don't worry. We'll do a full countdown, top 10 f ups of biggest mistakes of Warner Brothers or whatnot. Or
I think we might have to do that in the top 50. because like Birds of Prey is like 4 points by itself.
If the show, not the comic, the show,
the
original show from the 90s. It's like a pseudo Joss Whedon show. But real quick, so Chris says he says childhood as in mid-teens and down. So I think what he just means that ultimately is from our perspectives, the shows that we liked as kids from each of us is individually. So if that's the case, then it'll just be unique list then.
Yeah, we'll have 3. Yeah, but that's okay.
And that's I'm up for all these type of things. Another thing, just to quickly before we get out, because I gotta head out here, but before we dip out, an upcoming list that we have is about our childhood. The crushes that are animated, things of that nature. So if you yourself have animated crushes, please feel free to send them in to us here. Leave
let's
it in
not
the chat.
all say Miss Incredible at the same time. We know.
So you have to appreciate the fact that it shows Elastigirl when she was like before she was a MILF, and she was like much slimmer, and then she had kids. It's like, you saw they made it clear that it's like she just.
She had to look back at a moment and everything, so it was intentional. They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. Yeah, that's not haphazard. So get your Velmas and Jessica Rabbits and Elastigirls and what's her face, Lola Bunny's ready. We'll have them all up in here.
Oh, wait, new Lola Bunny or old Lola Bunny?
Please, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Please.
And on that note, we will end the show.
yeah, but maybe forever.
Yeah, I mean, if Warner Brothers has their way, they'll probably cancel us eventually.
Yeah, the best thing Warner Brothers did was make a Lola Bunny a female. The first time.
Yeah, the first time. But yeah. We got one last comment. Top 10 Pixar baddies. But yeah, we're right on the same line because there'll be a few. There'll be a few Pixar in there.
I'm not opposed to any of that. Big shout outs to Chris and Rain and all of Rain's accounts for hopping in here today. It was real fun talking to y'all. Real fun.
No, you actually have a point there. You actually have a point, but real or fake, they're there. So I'll take it.
That's actually been. I've heard the theories about the fan theories. If that's because she can control her whole body, do we know what she's doing? That maybe she actually is doing that on purpose. Yeah.
Hey,
I have read that theory before.
I would. Either way, it's there.
I mean, it's a lot there. It's like no one's complaining. By the way, no one's complaining.
Yeah. He said if it wiggles and jiggles. And that's
the note we're gonna leave it. No, leave it. There we go. Leave it there. We go. Leave it up there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what we leave it on. But it's been a pleasure, y'all. Have a wonderful Father's Day. Yes.
Now podcast, and we're checking out.
If it wiggles and jiggles.
If it wiggles